Otaa brothers. From humble beginnings in Australia, they went from zero to revolutionising the men's fashion industry. So much so that they are now featured in blockbuster movies by some of the biggest news anchors in the world.
Otaa brothers, best ties in the world.
Today, I was invited to their Melbourne warehouse where they run their entire operation. They came up with this idea when one day they had to go to a wedding and they only had one suit. They needed to change up the look. The crazy thing is that they tried so many businesses before this, and then finally the simplest product that they launched revolutionized the industry.
The necktie that he's wearing, about the brand, I stood there for 5 minutes thinking to myself, this is a crazy moment.
The secret behind their business is how it solves a real problem that millions of men face when it comes to social events. We're going to break down all the secrets of their business and how it's making them a ton of money.
What it feels like to have a big brand is quite amazing. To be able to ship products from Melbourne around the whole globe is an amazing feeling.
In this video, they share everything, how they launched their business with their community with zero ads, how their supplier got their biggest order wrong, and how anyone can build a life-changing business based on what they love to do. I'm Davie Fogarty, and this is yet another memoir of my mentoring students.
Our parents migrated here in the 1980s from Fiji Islands. Dad was a punter. He loved horse races. He would always give me the newspaper. He'd be like, which number do you think is gonna win? And I'm like, I have no idea. Well, you giving me a number. And he's like, just pick a number, number 7. He puts money on and ends up winning. And then he's like, yo, you're lucky. Can you pick up another number? We're always around my dad just taking risk over and over again. He did what he could to put food on the table. I was working a night shift job in logistics. One day after my 6 a.m. shift had finished, drove home, and then my phone lights up. It's my brother. And he tells me he just got involved in a major car accident. The first thing that went through my head is he okay? He said, I'm okay, but the car's totally gone. I'm like, that car wasn't insured. We're so stuffed. We're in so much debt now because we're brothers, we share everything. I got in the car, I drove towards him on the Monash freeway, and there was police vehicles everywhere. After that, we got inside my car, put our seatbelts on, we gave each other a big hug, and I'm like, let's just get something to eat. Let's just feel good for a moment. We drove to Pancake Parlour. We walked inside. The smell of pancakes in that time is like really refreshing because when you feel like you lost your brother, anything to give any sort of relief was very, really good. We looked around and thought for a second, is this it for our lives? Are we just gonna be in debt? Are we just gonna be stuck in this like 14-hour work days? Is this our story? And it just didn't feel like it was gonna be it for us. I looked at him and I'm like, bro, we have to do something. There has to be more to our story than just this.
From that moment onwards, I just thought, we've got to do something. What can we do to get ourselves out of this situation?
To paint a picture of our living situation as well, when it used to rain in my bedroom, water would leak onto the roof and seep through the walls and land onto my bed. So I would pray every single time for it not to rain. There would be possums in the wall, and it wouldn't just be one, there'd be 5. And you know it's a problem when the possums start getting names. We used to get like letters from like the agents, real estate agents. Always remember the red font. It's like your rent's due and it's late. We used to pay the rent and we used to drive to the real estate agent's office and pay them in cash, and we'd just make rent every single month. And again, it just felt like oxygen was kind of leaving us.
I think our entrepreneurial spirit came out of us at the end of it. So I think the car accident really brought that together. So the next day, we decided to start working on the next chapter and the next idea for us, and which was kitchen goods.
It's one of those kitchen goods where you smash it and then the vegetables will break into a million pieces. This looks great, we can sell this.
Once we received the goods, we took some photos of the products and then we loaded them up on eBay. So we had our first shipment. We packaged it up, bubble wrapped it, and then we sent it off.
Out of the 20 that we shipped off, about 15 people emailed back saying, hey guys, it arrived broken. There was a crack in the container. All the money that we put into kitchenware goods was just a total failure for us. But we did learn how to sell a little bit, which is a bit of a silver lining.
Well, the thing is, we did import them. So we've never imported anything before. So it was just going through that process. So even though it was a failure, we still learned how to import something from overseas.
Me and Shane looked at each other and said, this can't be it. Like, we can't just be peddling kitchenware. We closed that business down. We said we're done with that one.
We sort of weren't going to give up, and we thought about the third idea. The third idea was selling HDMI cables, and that ended up being a failed business as well. We ended up selling iPhone covers, and that ended up being a failure as well. So we did multiple different businesses, and we just kept on failing. It was like another day. So basically we kept on failing up until we found something that we actually wanted to get into.
We then got invited to a wedding. Between myself and Shane, we had one suit each. We didn't want to purchase a brand new suit for every single wedding. We'd rather just keep the same suit for every single wedding. But we wanted to change up the outfit because it's cheaper just to buy the tie, which is a bit of a hack, than it is to buy a brand new suit every single time. And at the time, the ties that we were kind of looking for are the ones that we saw on the big screen, whether it was kind of Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones in the lecture room wearing those tweed ties, or Sean Connery smoking a cigarette in James Bond. So we walked in a department store looking for those ties. We walked in, literally next to like the rubbish bin, there's a small table and there's like 2 ties on the table. One tie was your big fat grandpa tie for 135 bucks. And then there's a shoestring tie for like $97. And we're like, where are the options? Where are the ties? We're like, oh, we'll just settle for the skinny tie. We'd asked the store clerk working at the time to complete the purchase. He came over and we grabbed the skinny tie and he's like, you want to grab that tie? And we're like, yeah, this is the one. And then the level of sort of pretentiousness and judginess that he had for us grabbing that skinny tie was next level insane. We couldn't almost believe it. Like, the fashion world, or especially formal wear, will let you know if you're making an incorrect decision, and we're making an incorrect decision. We're meant to go with the wider tie.
After the incident that we had at the department store, we just looked at each other and said, why don't we start a necktie business?
We found a supplier online. We put an order for 20 items. His display picture on WeChat was a golden retriever. So every single time he would respond back to us, a golden retriever would go on our phone, and the golden retriever had like a wagging tongue. And so it was really cool. Like, every time we messaged him saying, oh, we want this design, this design, this design, and we want to make it in this way and this cut, he'd respond back with a golden retriever with tongue coming out saying, we can do that, we can do that, we can do that. I'm like, oh, this is awesome, this is easy.
He used to just reply straight away.
He delivered the first like 20 items. The MOQ was so low, we were so happy that he was even going to agree to do any business with us. The initial order was so low as well for us. It's like $400, and we just put everything we could together. And that was a lot of money for us because that's pretty much the remainder what we had in the bank balance. So we ended up receiving 20 bow ties, and they were great. The quality was great, it was awesome. I'm like, we can sell these. We put the 20 ties online, our first website, launched the website, zero traffic, zero sales. The first thing we tried to do to bring some sort of traffic in anything was just partake in communities where there was like Reddit forums. There was friends, there was family, there was any way to just let people know that we're alive. End up bringing some sort of traffic in, but it was very small trickles, like a few clicks at a time. By hook or by crook, we kind of like end up selling one at a time really slowly. It was a trickle. We would get a post on a Reddit forum, it'd get upvoted a few times, we'd get a few clicks, a bit of traffic that way. We'd get a shout out here and there. It was a really, really slow trickle, but we sold the 20 ties that we had. I'm like, yes, this is awesome. We can do this. This is fantastic. So we put the reorder in. Golden Retriever, we messaged, we're ready to go again. Let's put a new order in. He's like, yep, no problem. We wanted to reorder the same ties because those are the ones that we've sold. The listings were prepared, so we put the order in. We're waiting for the order. We're anxiously waiting because people were like, there's now zero revenue on the website as well, because once it's sold out, you're only as good as your inventory. The order comes, it arrives, we get the box cutter, open it open, we look at the ties, we're like, looked at each other, we're like, what the hell? This isn't the ties we ordered, these are just random mode designs. And we're like, okay, what do we do, bro? What do we do? What do we do? We take the photos on our phone, we put on the website. We end up getting an email. Someone said, hey, we're able to bulk purchase a few of your ties. We're like, yeah, you can do whatever you like. We can do bulk purchasing. It was just enough to get us to the next end. But then after we cleared out that stock, we're like, okay, we can't deal with the supply anymore. Golden Retriever guy has to go. We pulled together our finances, and every single time it feels like we're going all in, because we were. This was our all in moment. We found a little bit of oxygen every single time.
I flew across to China. We're trying to find someone who could produce just purely neckties. We didn't want someone who was producing other products. We wanted someone who was focused on creating the best quality necktie. We wanted to create an eco-friendly, sustainable packaging, and as well as a great quality brand and product. So that was a challenging moment because, one, we were asking for a lot and we didn't have any money. So after a few different visits of factories, we happened to partner with someone that we really liked, who purely made neckties, and that's all they did at their factory. They really gave us the opportunity at the start, and we've been dealing with the same people in overseas for the last 13 years, and we've built up a great relationship.
We nailed down the supplier, we got that down pat, and we got the products. We iterated on the necktie like probably 30, 40 times until we actually got it sort of perfected. So all these things were starting to fall into place for the first time. So now is on trying to build more traction to Otaa.com, letting people know that we've got the greatest ties. What we ended up doing was emailing a bunch of people from news organizations. I probably sent off like hundreds of emails every single day, day in, day out. I got to my laptop one day and then the little notification bell went off. And it was an email back from one of these news organizations. I'm like, oh, someone's actually like got back to me. And it was an email back from the Huffington Post. And they end up saying, hey, by the way, we'll run a story on you guys. And again, it just felt like a big sigh of relief. I'm like, someone's gonna actually cover the Otaa story. This is awesome. The journalist is like, I'll contact you tomorrow and then we'll do a phone interview. So we did the phone interview the next day. You could tell she's kind of disinterested as I was telling the story. I'm like, man. At the end of it, she's like, okay, yeah, we'll wrap it up. She emailed after the interview. She's like, look, we'll run the story, but is this gonna be like a side piece, bottom link somewhere? I'm like, I'll take it. That's, again, you publish our story. We can get any traffic to Otaa.com. That's 20 people, 100 people, 200 people knowing about Otaa.com that they didn't know about it. About 2 weeks later, they run us as the #1 news story of the day. So the cheeky clothiers, you can still Google it, that just gave us a huge wind in our sail. That was just enough to get us through to the next side, and we got a lot of sort of buzz. Orders are coming through, like ching, 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 a notification every single time it goes off, ching, 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 and the dopamine was real. I'm like, this is so cool. People knowing about our story. From that article being released, we did around $2,000 of sales.
We wouldn't have got that article if it wasn't for the Golden Retriever sent us all these different products and all these different patterns and all these different colors. So we almost have to sort of thank him for sending us this massive mistake, because at the time we thought it was a massive fail, but it ended up being a massive success. And it was almost the creation of the brand. That small mistake has led us today to this massive collection of different designs and different patterns. Now we had 80 different designs on our website, and we saw that we were getting traction within Australia. The massive one where me and Fameez got very inspired is when we got our first international order, which was in Italy in 2012. And that's when we both looked at each other and thought, oh wow, this is now no longer just a localized market, it could be an international market.
There's like a different market for the different ties. It sounds kind of crazy, but people who wear blue ties tend to wear it, say, to work. People who wear black ties at funerals. Real estate agents will wear certain ties, and then news anchors will wear certain ties. And so we thought, okay, what's a really good concrete way we can build sort of traction? So we bet on this idea that we can create almost like a wiki guide for like a how-to series of the ties. So we worked out there's 50 different ways to tie ties. How to tie a tie, how to tie a Merovingian knot, how to tie a skinny tie, how to tie a bow tie. Till this day, it's gotten over 1 million views for these how-to guides and hundreds of thousands of views for like the how to tie a bow tie. And that has worked indirectly to bring traffic to Otaa.com.
A customer would email across saying they wanted a pink necktie. We thought, pink necktie, that's outrageous. So when a customer emails, that really represents 10 other people asking the same question. So we decided to do pink neckties. And once we launched them onto our website, we ended up selling out of the pink neckties. Another email would be flower neckties. And we thought, okay, we're never going to do flower neckties. But then we realized that, there's a whole market of people wanting us to get into flower neckties.
So it's the first 4 years, which is a long time, I did every single customer service ticket. When a customer ticket came in and they come with a problem saying it didn't arrive or do you guys have this? Instead of trying to just answer the ticket, the idea was, can we just solve the ticket as a whole? It was almost one of the last things that we kind of gave up in terms of like hiring that rollout.
So in 2015, we moved into the warehouse. We had been working out of mum's garage out of 2 or 3 years.
It's pretty amazing because now we take it for granted every business should have a Facebook page, Instagram page. But in 2015, the dialogue was for brands to just even have a Facebook page to begin marketing. We ended up creating an Instagram page, and this was the real early days of, we call them influencers now, but back then we didn't call them influencers. They were just people with large followings on Instagram. One guy in the middle of Italy really took off on Instagram, and he was just a necktie connoisseur. This person had pretty much over 500,000 followers. He built a cult following of necktie enthusiasts in Italy. So me and Shane looked at each other and we're like, dude, if we can get this guy wearing Otaa. This could be a real make moment for us. So we contacted this Italian influencer and he went to scene and he replied straight away. He was like, no. So we responded back to him and we're like, okay, how about if you just give us the address, we can just send you ties and just let us know what you think. We're not asking for anything. You can just give us a chance and just try it out. He ended up agreeing to it after probably 20 or 30 back and forth. So we're just happy he was responding. We ended up sending him the goods and he messaged back. He was like, yeah, I really like your ties. He decided to do a post. He tagged Otaa. From there, we started getting traction. Every time he posts, we worked out the tie was started selling out online. It's like, okay, people like the way he influences this style. He makes it look good. And so this process of contacting influencers, then working with us, we kind of just rinsed and repeated that over and over again with different influencers. And then we started getting more of a consistent spike of sales and then more of a spike of sales. And then our Instagram page started to build followers. So it went from 10K to 20K to 50K followers, 100K into 120K. So like we started building real momentum. And then like we started being known as the necktie guys. These are the guys to go to online. The social media necktie guys, it's the Otaa brothers. Just go to them, they're the easy guys. So felt like we're unstoppable. Warehouse was filling up. We got another warehouse across the road. So we had 2 warehouses and the staff was growing. And then we consolidated into one big ass warehouse. And then the momentum kept going. And then COVID hits. Now all weddings are canceled, all formal events are canceled. So our sales went down a cliff. It went down over like 70%. And we were just hanging on by a sort of thread with COVID. So we had to shrink operations. We had to pretty much like cut all the costs where we can, all the subscriptions that we weren't using, we stopped them. We had to just pretty much go into survival mode to persevere the business because no one was getting ties. It's kind of a reminder of the beginning again. Is this whole thing gonna collapse back into where we were sitting in Pancake Parlour, back to the drawing board? So we said, okay, we can always improve something in the business. The shipping, the cost, anything we can do to improve the business during this time, we can still do. It's still within our control. Almost primed us for when COVID had ended. And then we saw the inverse happen. Like weddings came back, like formal events came back. It just became a monster in terms of orders and sales. And we almost couldn't believe how busy we were. It just rocketed like a ship. And so now we're just hanging on to get the inventory in and fulfill the orders and send it.
At the end of 2023, I flew into Hong Kong. I was there for a meeting for 24 hours. I'm literally walking back towards the hotel and I see someone walking towards me. He's wearing a shirt, he's wearing a pair of jeans and sneakers, and he's wearing this like unique tie. And I looked at the tie and I thought, oh my God, that's our necktie. I ran up behind him. He's with his wife. I tapped him on the shoulder. I just said to him, look, I love your outfit. I love what you're wearing. I love that tie. Where is it from? He goes,
OTAA, and you can order
He's
it
the
on the
owner?
internet.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I really love Otaa. I have a big collection of Otaa.
We read this book by Tony Hsieh, Delivering Happiness, and that's what we wanted to do, was to deliver awesome made products to the customer. The funny thing about that was I'm literally in Hong Kong. This person doesn't know who I am. He thinks I'm a total stranger. And he's giving me a marketing pitch about the necktie that he's wearing, about the brand. And I stood there for 5 minutes thinking to myself, this is a crazy moment.
I logged onto my laptop one day and I see the Shopify dashboard and it says 10,000 people are on the website. I get a Slack message from the customer service team. They're like, oh, you guys got a plug. It's from Fox News. The news anchor turned around the tie and he flips over and says, Otaa, they make the world's best ties.
Everyone's been asking about where do I get my ties? Otaa Brothers. They're from down under. Best ties in the world.
It just sent all these people to the website and it just exploded sales like crazy. And the fact that he professed that we had the world's best ties kind of cemented the fact that we're on the right track. This is an unpaid shout out. This is totally organic. I was a fan of the brand and it was super awesome just to see that moment happen. Just from there, we've had people like Nick Cannon wear Otaa, give us tags on Instagram. There was Robert Kennedy has been seen wearing a toucan Otaa tie. There's been Project, The Bachelor. I've seen the Channel 10 anchors wear at Channel 9. We've always focused on building the brand first and foremost. Focus inwards, like focus on quality, focus on product, focus on these things. Because if we were to shoot these guys messages, they're not responding to us. Why are they going to wear our ties? build a brand that's cool enough, that resonates, that has, we built focus on humor, we've focused on the adventure side. We've done some big crazy productions, whether it's in Egypt on these funny YouTube sort of videos and clips. Like, we've really invested wholeheartedly in the brand. So we try to create something that's cool enough that allows us to have organic reach, so they kind of come to you as opposed to you going to them.
What it feels like to have a big brand is quite amazing. To be able to ship products from Melbourne around the whole globe is an amazing feeling.
The ties that we'd see on the big screen, we could never actually get. The full circle moment is kind of like the big studios, whether it's Warner Brothers or we've had our ties on Netflix. Their costume departments are purchasing off us now. So now when we watch those big sort of movies or TV shows, whether it's Better Call Saul, The Boys, they're Otaa ties now, which is really cool. So the moment's kind of come full circle, where we used to think where those guys get those ties from, and now it's kind of cool to see it that's kind of come full circle. It's like they're Otaa ties on the big screen now.